Have you ever wondered how coconut oil is made? Let me show you how in this 2 minutes video. These are all the coconuts I'll be using, and because of the quantity, I got the back removed. You can remove yours by yourself if you're an expert. Remember to be very careful. The next thing I did was to chop the coconut into smaller pieces. This will help the grinding or blending process to be faster, and then properly wash the coconut. Kindly note that if you want your oil to come out looking pure white, you have to scrape the back of your coconut. That's this brownish part of your coconut. So after grinding, the next thing I did was to sieve out the milk, that is the coconut milk. You don't need too much water when sieving out your milk. Just make sure you squeeze out all the juice in that coconut. I made use of my cheesecloth. That's the same cloth I used to sieve out my pap or kunu. Once I am done sieving, I'll transfer the milk into a container with cover. I will let that sit and ferment for at least 12 hours. This is the next day. You can clearly see the milk separated from the water. You can scoop out the milk part and begin to fry if you're doing the hot press method. But because I'll be doing both the hot and cold press method, I will have to solidify it in the freezer. After some minutes, I took some part of the milk into the pot and another part into a bowl where I'll be keeping under the sun for some hours. This is called the cold press method. And then for the remaining part of the milk, I'll put that on fire and keep stirring at intervals so it doesn't get burnt. Remember to cover this because it spills a lot. Continue stirring at intervals until you are sure all the oil is out. You will know when there is no more whitish milkish part in the pot. You turn off the heat, let it cool down and then sieve. This is called the hot press method. Some hours later, I went check up on the milk that has been sitting under the sun, and I noticed it had already formed 3 layers: oil on top, the curd in the middle, and liquid at the bottom. So I carefully scooped out the oil on the surface. Guys, this is pure unadulterated coconut oil. The smell is heavenly. And because the sun was already setting at this point, I knew I did not have the time to get all the oil from the cold press method. I proceeded to use the hot press method for the remaining curd. Nothing must waste, guys. Nothing must waste. So when you're making yours, do well to calculate the time when the sun will be out the most to get your cold press method. And that's it, guys. I hope you see the reason why coconut oil is so expensive. I hope you give this a try. You're welcome.